Hello ladies and gentlemen, Scare204 here bringing you another Minecraft World War II BAFTA build tutorial. In this tutorial we'll be going ahead and building Japanese battleship IJN Mutsu. Mutsu was the second and last Nagato-Class dreadnought battleship built for the Imperial Japanese Navy at the end of World War I. It was named after the province. In 1923 she carried supplies for the survivors of the Great Kanto earthquake. The ship was modernized in 1934 and 1936 with improvements to her armor and machinery and a rebuilt superstructure in the pagoda mast style. Other than participating in the Battle of Midway and the Battle of the Eastern Solomons in 1942, where she did not see any significant combat, Mutsu spent most of her first year of the Pacific War in training. She returned to Japan in early 1943. That June, one of her aft magazines detonated while she was at anchor, sinking the ship with the loss of 1,121 crew and visitors. The IJN investigated into the cause of her loss and concluded that it was the work of a disgruntled crew member. The Navy dispersed the survivors in an attempt to conceal the sinking in interest of morale in Japan. Much of the wreck was scrapped after the war, but some artifacts and relics are on display in Japan, and a small portion of the ship remains where it was sunk. So yeah, the IJN Mutsu, a very interesting kind of story to her, and really kind of, different from many of the other Japanese battleships at the time, where they went down fighting, and poor Mutsu, she just kind of was sunk by, basically, I would say, sabotage, pretty much. So, really cool ship, and obviously one of the main battleships of the Imperial Japanese Navy, or one of the most iconic ones, I would say, is Nagato. Obviously, her sister ship, the IJN Nagato, had a little bit more of a bigger rap sheet than her sister ship, the Mutsu, but still a really cool ship and should be an awesome build to add to your fleets as another Imperial Japanese battleship, which I think it's been a little bit since we've done one, so nice to obviously revisit them and all that. This is the modernized version, so this is the version that would have been the Mutsu when she was sunk in 1942. So this is not based off the World War I version, but based off of the World War II one. With that though, let's go ahead and dive in here and take a look at IJN Mutsu. So going ahead and getting started with the ship, we have the front bow of it. Again, of course, we have the Imperial crest on the front of the ship, the just all the anchorage and stuff like that up here in the front, some anti-aircraft guns, and then we have the first two turrets located right here. So pretty cool stuff. Then you have your mast, again, the pagoda style mast, really detailed, lots of stuff going on, very typical Imperial Japanese mast style. Then we have the casemate section, so you have about 7 casemates on each side, located right here. And then, of course, some secondary batteries, anti-aircraft guns scattered about. Then we have our funnel here. Again, just various anti-aircraft weapons equipped to it. You can definitely tell this is kind of a mid to late war design with all the anti-aircraft guns equipped on it. Then on the back here we have our crane and the rear mast located back here. Again, some more secondary batteries and even some more casemate guns built into the hull there. We then have the catapult for the seaplanes, and then you have your 2 rear turrets here. Again, with some anti-aircraft guns here and there all around it, and of course, in true Japanese style, a ton of anti-aircraft guns mounted on the rear of the ship. So overall, really nice design for it. I'm really happy with the way it came out, and I'm sure many of you guys are going to really enjoy it, putting it to use on your worlds as a really cool Japanese battleship. Anyways, though, without further ado, let's go ahead and move into the tutorial. Alright guys, so moving into our first layer here, we'll be going ahead and start with layer 1. For layer 1 to go ahead and get started with here, we do want to make sure we set this layer up properly, so if you want to display this in the water, you have it at the correct height. Now, to go ahead and build this in the water, you're going to want to make sure you start layer 1 here, basically 1 block beneath the water surface layer. So we have this layer right here of blue concrete representing that water level, and you can see the red here is where that hole is going to start, basically underneath that. So just make sure you have that all squared away and good to go, and you have this positioned correctly. Now we're going to obviously have this red concrete block coming off this block toward the direction you want your bow of your ship. We're going to place down a red stained glass pane, so that's going to be the very front bow of our ship. And then we're going to go back from this red concrete. We're going to place down a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and 36 red concrete blocks back. And we'll go ahead and double check the count here. And it should be 36 blocks back from that first one, so 37 blocks here in total. Now on the very end here, we want to go ahead and grab ourselves a brick upside down stair. We're just we're going to be using red nether brick for this. So we have a red nether brick and we have a red nether brick slabs. Now we're going to place down a red nether brick upside down stair like so. And then we want to go ahead and build our way out to the side here with a red nether brick top slab to both ends here. And then a second top slab going forward. And then a red upside down nether brick stair like that to both sides. We're going to go ahead and then grab ourselves some lightning rods and some fence gates. We're going to place down a lightning rod coming off these two slabs to the sides there. And then a fence gate like this after those lightning rods. And we're going to have these fence gates open up toward the middle there. Coming off that, we're going to place down a birchwood slab to both sides. And then we're going to go ahead and grab an acacia wood trapdoor. And we're going to place down an acacia wood trapdoor coming off this middle space to both sides like that. And then you should have something that looks like that there for the rear so far. Now, once that's done, we're going to go ahead and then go from these red nether brick stairs. We're going to go ahead and build 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red concrete blocks forward, and same thing over here. On the side of the second block, we're going to place down a top slab, followed by a second top slab, and then 2 upside down stairs. Same thing over here. And we're going to go back from the top slabs with 1, 2, and 3 lightning rods, and same thing over here, 1, 2, and 3 lightning rods. We're going to go ahead and then place down a acacia wood fence gate like this to both sides, and then we're going to place down a birchwood slab again coming off those fence gates like that to go ahead and create our props on the rear. Now from that, we're going to take our red concrete for this inner row here. We're going to build this red concrete all the way forward along the side of the build until you get to your third red concrete or third block here from the front. So you're going to stop at this point right here. So in total here, we're going to have a row of 32 red concrete blocks from this red nether brick upside down stair. So once that row is complete, we're going to go ahead and then place down a red stained glass pane here to the side of this block. And we also want to go ahead and place down an acacia wood trapdoor on the side here as well. And the same thing is going to be done over here on this side as well. So just go ahead and do the same thing on the other side here, like so. So just like that. Now our next section here, we're going to take our red concrete. We're going to go off this nether brick stair. We're going to go and bring this row of red concrete forward. So you have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 red concrete blocks forward. We'll double check our count here. And it's going to be 23 in total. And then we want to place down a red nether brick wall, which we'll go ahead and grab. And we're going to place down a red nether brick wall, then a red stained glass pane, and then a acacia wood trapdoor like that along the side there. And we're going to do the same exact design over here on the other side as well. So just like that. Now once that's done, we're going to go ahead and then take our red stained glass panes. We're going to go to the second to last red concrete block here. And we're going to place down a glass pane coming off of it. We're going to go and then go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18 red stained glass panes forward. And then a acacia wood trapdoor on the front there. And the same thing is going to be done over here on this side as well. So just like this. And again, that's basically just creating your torpedo blister on the very outside. And with that, that is going to finish off everything we have for layer number 1 of the build. Here is a top-down view of what it should look like so far. And with that, we'll be going ahead and moving on to our next layer, which will be layer number 2. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 2. For layer 2 to begin with, we're going to place down a red concrete block on top of this red stained glass pane. And then we want to place down 1, 2, and 3 blocks back. On the sides of the fourth block here, we're going to place down a red stained glass pane to both sides, and then we're going to place down 1 acacia wood trapdoor going forward from that glass pane. After we have that done, going back from the glass pane, we're going to go ahead and build 1, 2, 3 red stained glass or red concrete blocks, and 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we're actually going to make that 4 on both sides. On the second block here from the front, we're going to place down a trapdoor, then a red stained glass pane, and then another brick wall. Same thing will be done over here on this side, like so. After that is all done, we're going to take our red concrete and we're going to build a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and 27 red concrete blocks back, and the same thing is going to be done over here. So we're going to bring that back all the way to this point here. Now, after we have that done, we want to go ahead and then take our red stained glass panes, and we're going to place down a pane on this second block here, and then 1, 2 more after that, so you have a total of 3. And then we're going to take our red nether brick walls, we're going to place down 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Nether brick walls back, and then 1, 2, 3, and 4 red stained glass panes, and then 1 and 2 acacia wood trapdoors. And we're just going to go ahead and do the same thing over here on this side. So if you need to, feel free to look at the other side for reference, but again, it's the same exact thing that we did on the other side, just over here. So just like that. After that's all done, go ahead and continuing on with the back here. We're going to place down our red nether brick wall, and then 2 red stained glass panes going back from that red nether brick wall. Same thing over here. And then we're going to take our red concrete. We're going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 red concrete. And the same thing right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 red concrete. And then acacia wood trapdoors on the sides of these 2 blocks right here. Then after we have that done, we're going to go ahead and also place down 2 red concrete blocks here in the middle just to cover up that empty space. And we then want to go ahead and place down a row of 1, 2, and 3 red concrete blocks going down the center with a red nether brick wall on both sides of the first one, and 2 red stained glass panes on the sides of the following 2. Then lastly, we're just going to go ahead and grab ourselves a red nether brick slab. And we're going to place that top slab here on the back, coming off this red concrete block, like so. And that right there is going to complete everything we have for layer 2. Optionally, you can fill the inside in here of the ship with red concrete. You really don't have to. This right here is kind of just the bare minimum of what you will need to fill the inside, or to complete this layer. But again, you can fill in the inside if you want to. But again, here's a top-down view of what it should look like so far from the top-down view. And with that, we'll be going ahead and moving into our next layer. Layer number 3. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 3. Layer 3 to go ahead and get started with here. We're going to place down a stone block on top of this red concrete block, and then a light gray stained glass pane going forward from it. We're going to go ahead and place down 1, 2, 3, and 4 blocks back, and we're going to go ahead and then place down an iron trapdoor on both sides of the second stone block. Now, if you're on Java, you're going to go ahead and use the following command to go ahead and grab the debug stick. This command is /give appy minecraft:/debug_stick. You can see there in the bottom left. You'll be using that command to go ahead and get this glowing stick here when you press enter, and you can left click these trapdoors to get selected open. It should say false. We'll right click that to set that open to true, and it'll close those trapdoors manually for us. Now, you can also use birchwood trapdoors as an alternative if you do not have access to the debug stick on the other versions of Minecraft, but just use whatever works best for you. We're going to go ahead and place down 2 light gray stained glass panes back from those trapdoors, and then an andesite wall on both sides as well. After that, we're going to take our stone blocks. We're going to build 1, 2, 3, 4 stone blocks, and 1, 2, 3, 4 on this side as well. We're going to go ahead and then place down an andesite wall off the last block, and 2 light gray stained glass panes going forward from it, like so. Again, the same on both sides there. Then going back from this andesite wall, we're going to place down a row of stone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and 27 stone blocks back. And again, the same thing is going to be done over here on the other side as well. Once we have that all done, we're going to go ahead and then go to our second and third stone blocks from the front. We're going to place down our trapdoors and use the same techniques as we used up in the front. So like that. And then we'll take our light gray stained glass panes, and we're going to place down a row of panes that go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19 panes. And then 2 iron trapdoors. Again, we'll close manually. And we're just going to go ahead and do the same thing over here on this side as well. So like this, and our glass panes. They're going to go forward all the way along the side here. Like so. Now once that's done, on the back here, we're going to go ahead and then take our andesite walls. We're going to place down 2 walls back. And then we're going to go ahead and then place down 2 light gray stained glass panes back from those walls. On the inside here of the walls and glass panes, we're going to go ahead and place down a row of 5 of stone blocks. So like so. And we're actually going to go ahead and actually alter this just a slight bit. We're actually going to place down 2 stripped oak wood blocks here behind the walls. We will go ahead and also place down 1 here right behind this first glass pane, but then we're going to have 2 stone blocks after that. So just go ahead and make sure you make that adjustment there. Then going from the stone blocks here, we're going to place down 2 more andesite walls, and then 2 more light gray stained glass panes going back between the glass panes on the back here. On top of that red nether brick top side, we're going to place down a stone block. And this middle space here, we're going to fill in with our stripped oak wood logs, like that, to fill in the center. Now we're going to go ahead and then bring these rows forward with a couple more rows of 3 across. So we just want to go ahead and go forward a total of 3 more rows of 3 to fill in the back deck here of the ship. So once you have that all filled in, then you are pretty much good to go. That's the bare minimum you will need to have filled in there. Then we want to go ahead and just take an end rod, and we're going to place down an end rod coming off this glass pane here, and this will just come off both sides of the ship there on the back. But with that all done, that's going to pretty much wrap up what we have here for this layer. Pretty simple and straightforward. Next layer is going to be a little bit more time consuming, as we will start to get into a lot of the detailing for the upper deck. But this right here is what it should look like for the top-down view. Again, you can go ahead and fill the inside in here with stone. I will be doing that off camera. But you can fill that in if you do want a little bit more solid of a build, but it is not necessary. This here is the bare minimum you will need to have the ship completely done. Anyways, though, let's move into our next layer, layer number 4. Alright guys, moving into our next layer, we have layer number 4. For layer 4 to start with, we're going to place down a stone block on top of this glass pane here, followed by an item frame, and then a block of gold in that item frame. We're going to go ahead and then take a birchwood sign, and we're just going to place down a birchwood sign on the side of the slab like that to go ahead and just kind of help blend that in a little bit better. This can be a Java only feature. If you're non-Java, then just disregard the sign. Behind this block, we're going to place down another stone block, and then we want to go and then take our stripped oak wood, and we're going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 of these stripped oak wood blocks going back down the center. Now, on the sides of the first stone block and the second stone block and this first stripped oak wood block, we're going to place down 2 light gray stained glass panes, and then going back from that, we're going to place down 2 andesite walls to both sides. We're going to go ahead and take our stone. We're going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4, just 3 stone blocks, and same thing over here. And then we're going to place down light gray stained glass panes coming off the last 2 stone blocks. And then after that, we're going to place down 1 and 2 andesite walls going back, and same thing over here. And in the spaces here, we're just going to place down stripped oak wood like that going down the center for our deck. Now to the very outside, we're going to place down a stone block like so. We're going to go ahead and place down a stone stair, and then another stone block, but this stone block is going to have a birchwood sign on the side of it. And same thing's going to be done over here. Stone block, stone stair, stone block, and that last stone block, a birchwood sign. We'll then also again take our stripped oak wood and just place down 3 more blocks to just fill in that space there, like so. Also up here on the front, we're going to go and go to this first glass pane. We're going to place down an item frame to both sides of it, and in the item frame, we do want to go ahead and place down a crossbow, which will have rotated to face downwards, like so. And that'll be done on both sides there for the front anchors. After that's done, we're going to go ahead and then take our stone. We're going to place down a row of 3, followed by a second row, then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 rows, like that. So 8 rows of 3 filling in along the side here. We're going to go ahead and then grab ourselves stone brick walls. We're going to place down a stone brick wall with an end rod coming off of it, then a stone block, stone brick wall, stone block, stone brick wall, stone block, and then a stone brick wall and a stone block. So you should have this alternating pattern along the side here of the ship, and you should have 4 of these casemate guns when you're done with that. And same thing will be done over here on this side as well. So again, just feel free to refer to the other side if you need to, but you want something that looks just like that. Now once we have that done, we're going to take our stone blocks and we're going to go ahead and build a row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 along the side here, and same thing over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to go ahead and then take our iron trapdoors, and we're going to place down a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 iron trapdoors along these blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 along the side here as well. We're going to place down a birchwood sign on the side of this first one, and then a birchwood sign like this on the rear one, and same thing over here. Like so. And then for the middle inside here, we can just fill this in with rows of 3 of our stripped oak wood planks. And again, try to have these all go in the same direction, as it's going to create a better overall design and look, just kind of more coherent. With that done, though, we're going to then place down a stone brick block to both sides, like so, and then a end rod coming off that stone brick block. We're going to go and then take a stone block, place it on both sides here, and then another stone brick wall to the sides with a end rod coming off those stone brick walls. Then we're just going to take our stripped oak wood. We're going to place down 3 more rows of 3 just down the center there to go ahead and continue to fill that in. Now at this point here, we want to go ahead and then take our light gray stainless panes. We're going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4 along the side there from that stone brick wall. Same thing over here. And we're going to go and then take stripped acacia wood, and we're going to place down a row of 3, then a second row of 3, and then a third row, like that. So you have 3 rows of 3. Then for this last row here, you're going to place down a stone block to both sides, and then a stripped acacia wood block there in the center. So it's going to look like this here. Once you have that done, we're going to take our stone blocks. We're going to go ahead and build 1 and 2 down the center. And we're going to follow this up with a andesite wall to both sides, and then a light gray stainless pane going forward from those walls. For our first turret, we're going to place down a stone upside down stair, a stone full block, and if you're on Java, we're going to go ahead and place down a piston. If you're non-Java, I would recommend a stone stair, but on Java we have access to the debug stick that we use for the trapdoors, which we can use to modify the properties of the piston, so that's what we're going to be using the piston for. We're going to go ahead and place down an andesite wall to both sides of the stone block here, and then we want to go ahead and take a skeleton skull and place them on both sides here of these blocks like that. Or actually, sorry, my bad, we're not going to place down these walls here. It's actually going to be a stone stair on both sides, so it's going to look like that there. Then we just want to go ahead and take our birchwood fence gates. We're going to place down 2 fence gates like this and open them up toward the rear of the ship like that for your gun barrels. After we have that done, we're going to go ahead and also grab ourselves some levers, and we're also going to need some item frames here. We're going to go ahead and place down a set of 2 levers right here with item frames underneath them for some anti-aircraft gun positions. Again, just a little note here is that on Java you can place down the item frames and the levers in the same block space. If you're non-Java, you'll not be able to do that. We're going to go ahead and then take our oak wood pressure plates. We're going to place down 3 pressure plates along the stone and walls right there. Then once we get to this section here, we're going to go ahead and place down a redstone comparator, another lever to both sides here, and again this is going to have a item frame underneath them. And then after we have that done, we're going to place down a stone button in the center here, and then again we're going to go ahead and place down a oak wood pressure plate to both sides like that. We're going to go ahead and then place down a lever here on this last block with a item frame underneath it, and then we're going to go ahead and grab ourselves a birchwood fence gate. We're going to place down a birchwood fence gate, open this up toward the rear, and we're just going to place down an iron bar on top of it like so. Now for my Java players, we do have a little bit to go ahead and add on for anti-aircraft guns on the back here. And this is going to be started off with placed down a stone block, and then we're going to place down a lever coming off this block to both sides. We're going to take our debug stick here, we're going to left click this till we get selected face wall. We'll right click this, set this to floor, and then left click these again until we get selected facing, and we're going to go ahead and rotate these around so that they face out toward the outsides. So they look like that there for those guns. And we're going to do the same thing right here. So again, we're going to rotate these around, and we're going to have these set to floor. So they're going to look like that, and the same thing is going to be done over here on this side as well. So go ahead and do that. And those are going to set up those guns, and we can also go ahead and place down item frames underneath these, these levers. Unfortunately, again, if you're non-Java, you will not be able to do that. We're also going to place down stone buttons here to both sides of this fence gates here, and then we're also going to place down an oak wood pressure plate on top of those stone full blocks. So that right there is going to basically create what we have there for the back, all those anti-aircraft guns and all that. Also at this point, we can take our debug stick, we can left click the piston until we get selected extended false. We'll right click this, set it to true, and it'll kind of create that little slant there for our turret shaping. So pretty good stuff there, but that right there is going to conclude everything we have for layer number 4 of the build. As you can see, we're starting to get a lot of it kind of set up and everything. The next layer, again, going to be a bit of a long layer as we do have, again, more of the superstructure and all that stuff we're going to be building up. So with that, let's go ahead and move on to layer number 4. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 4. For layer 4 to start with, we're going to place down a birchwood fence gate on top of the stone block, open that toward the front, and then we're going to place down an iron bar on top of that. Behind that, we're going to place down a redstone repeater. We're going to flip the notches apart from each other like so, and we're going to go ahead and build a row of redstone dust, row 3, going back like that. We also want to go ahead and grab item frames, and we're going to place down item frames here on top of these blocks, so like this, and we're going to go ahead and place that on a black bed in the item frame and rotate them so they're kind of angled like that out to the sides there, and that's just kind of going to be the holes for the anchor. Actually, we're going to scoot these back one more, so let's go ahead and bring these back one like that, and again we're just going to have them rotate out to the side there like so, and again just kind of the slits there for the anchor to actually go into. Anyways, though, after that is done there, we're going to place down another redstone repeater at the end of the redstone dust line. And then we want to place down a lever to both sides of the repeater. Again, some more anti-aircraft gun positions, and we're going to have item frames underneath them. After that's done, we're going to go ahead and place down 2 oak wood pressure plates back on the sides. And again, for my Java players, we're going to go ahead and place down some modified levers onto the glass panes here. So just use the same techniques that we did in the back of the ship. And again, we're going to place down our item frames. So just do, again, the same thing to both sides here. Unfortunately, again, for my Bedrock players or Pocket Edition, you will not be able to do this. So just some more anti-aircraft guns right there. Then we want to go ahead and place down a piston that's going to sit right here. And then going forward from it, we're going to place down 2 birchwood fence gates. Again, we're going to open these fence gates toward the front of the ship, a stone block, and then we want to place down a stone upside down stair. To the sides of the stone block, we're going to place down stone stairs, and then we're going to place down skeleton skulls here in the corners, coming off the piston and coming off the stair there. After that, we're going to go ahead and place down 2 stone full blocks, and also we'll take our debug stick now, and for my Java player, just go ahead and right click that piston and set it like so. But anyways, continuing on, we're going to place down a light gray stainless pane to both sides of this block here, and then we're going to place down an andesite wall to both sides of that block. Then also we're going to take some oak wood pressure plates. We're going to place down 1, 2, 3 here, and then 1, and then 1, 1, 2, 3. So like that to both sides. We're going to go ahead and then place down a stripped oak wood block here in the center, and then a stone block to both sides, another stripped oak wood block back, and another stone block to the sides here. We then want to place down a stone brick wall here, and then an end rod going forward from it for this casemate right here. Same thing over here. And then behind that, we're going to place down a row of 3 of stone full blocks, which will be followed with a light gray stainless pane to the sides here. Then we want to place down another row of 3 of stone full blocks. Again, another stone brick block to both sides, this time with a end rod coming off it like so. We're going to place down another row of 3 of stone, another light gray stainless pane, another row of 3 of stone, and a stone brick wall to both sides. Again, an end rod coming off the wall like that. After that, we're going to place down another row of 3 of stone, or actually, sorry, a stripped oak wood block here in the center, and then 3 and a stone block on both sides. We're going to go ahead and do that same thing one more time going back. On the sides here, we're going to place down an end rod on top of this wall. And then we want to go ahead and place down a oak wood pressure plate on top of that section there. Then after we have that done, we're going to go ahead and place down a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 stone blocks down the center. This will be followed with an end rod to both sides here, and then an andesite wall out to the sides like that. We're going to go ahead and then place down a light gray carpet to the sides here, then 2 levers, and then 2 more light gray carpet. Again, the same thing on both sides here. And again, if you're on Java, we can place down the item frames underneath those levers like so. Then we want to go ahead and grab ourselves some stone brick. We're going to place down a stone brick stair here, a stone brick full block, and then 2 stone brick slabs after that. Same thing will be done over here. Then we just want to go ahead and take our end rods, and we're going to place down 1, 2, 1, 2. So you should have a total of 3 end rods down the center there like that. After that's all done, we're going to go ahead and then grab our oak wood pressure plates. We're going to place down an oak wood pressure plate like this to both ends. And then we want to go ahead and place down a skeleton skull that is going to come off of this stone block. And then we're going to place down a stone block after that skeleton skull. We're going to go ahead and then place down one more stone block out to the sides. And then we want to place down a andesite wall coming off those stone blocks. And then a stone brick upside down stair here to the sides with a skeleton skull coming off the side here of the stair. And also on this side here as well. Then we're going to place down a stone block in the middle, and then an andesite wall to both sides like that. After that's done, we want to go ahead and then place down a redstone repeater, separate the notches, stone button to both sides of that repeater. And then for our seaplane catapult, we're going to place down a row of 5 of daylight detectors across, and again turn those to that night mode like so. Then we're going to place down 2 more stone buttons on both sides here. And then for our Next turret, we're going to place down a stone upside down stair on top of this stripped acacia wood block, another stone block, and then a piston, like so. We're going to go then place down 2 birchwood fence gates coming off the piston, and we're going to open those fence gates out toward the rear of the ship, as well as a skeleton skull on both sides of the piston and the stair, and also a stone stair on both sides of the stone full block. And again, we'll take our debug stick and we'll right click that piston like so to go ahead and get rid of that wood portion on top of it. But anyways, that right there is going to conclude everything we have there for this layer. Just trying to make sure I'm not missing anything and everything appears to be good to go. So here is a top-down view of what that layer looks like from up above. And as you can really see, we're starting to kind of get a lot of this ship coming together, and we're getting more and more of this superstructure built up. So with that, let's go ahead and move into our next layer. Layer number 5. So moving into our next layer, we're actually moving into layer 6. For layer 6 to start with, we're going to place down a piston that's going to be on top of this stone block here, and we're going to go and then place down 2 fence gates going forward from it, which we're going to go ahead and then open up toward the front of the ship like that. We then want to place down a stone full block behind the piston, and then a stone stair to both sides of this block, and then a stone upside down stair here on the rear. We're also going to place down skeleton skulls on the sides of the piston and the stair, like so. After that's all done, we want to go ahead and then take our debug stick, we'll right click that piston there and get rid of that wood portion. Once we get to this point, we're going to go ahead and then place down a lever on this stone block here to both sides, and we're going to go ahead and then place down a item frame again underneath it, and same thing can be done underneath these skeleton skulls right here as well. Then we're going to go ahead and place down a andesite wall that's going to go in the center here, and then a stone block behind that, and then another andesite wall to the sides there. We're going to go and then take our stone blocks, place down a row of 3 across, and then we're going to place down a stone brick stair like this to both sides. Coming off the stone brick stair, we're going to place down a birchwood fence gate on both ends, and then we want to place down a skeleton skull that's going forward from the stair, so like that on that forward side. Then after that's done, we're going to place down another row of 3 of stone across. We then want to go ahead and place down a row of 3 of birchwood slabs, like so. And then on the side of these slabs, we're going to go ahead and place down a birchwood sign. So birchwood sign here to both sides. After that's done, we're going to go ahead and then place down a cobweb in the center, and then a skeleton skull at kind of a slight angle like this to both sides. And in this middle space here, we're going to go ahead and then take our polished diorite and just place down a row of 3. Now out to the sides here, we're going to go ahead and have to build, again, some more kind of lifeboats and all that stuff. We're going to place down a fence gate coming off the row of 3 of diorite. And we're going to open this fence gate toward the outsides, away from the ship. And then a diorite slab coming off the side of this fence gate, and then one more going forward, and same thing over here. And actually, we're going to go ahead and move this slab forward 1, so it's actually going to go ahead and go forward rather than back, and this fence key is actually going to sit here on top of this end rod. So let's go ahead and make that quick change there. Then on top of this andesite wall, we're going to place down another wall that goes up, and a light gray stainless pane that goes forward from that wall like that. And then also we're going to have a skeleton skull that comes off this wall out to the side. This middle space here, we want to go ahead and place down a stone brick stair here, and then a iron bar to both sides. We're going to go ahead and then place down 2 stone blocks down the center, and again iron bars on the side of those stone blocks. We're also going to place down a flower pot on top of these stone brick blocks just like so, and then a birchwood fence gate right here coming off this stone block, and on both sides of the fence gate we're going to place down a skeleton skull like so. After that's all done, we want to go and place down a stone brick stair like this, and then a polished diorite slab directly after that. We then want to go and place down a stone block here in the center, and then a stone top slab to the sides here of it, and a skeleton skull like that coming off that block. We then want to go ahead and place down a birchwood sign on the side here of these slabs like so. And then we want to place down a stone brick stair on top of these upside down ones like that. Coming off the side of the stair for, again, these anti-aircraft guns, we're going to place down a birchwood fence gate, have that open up toward this stair like so, and then a skeleton skull coming off the face of the stair facing backwards. After that is done, we're going to place down an end rod on top of those 2 walls, and then our fence gate there in the center opened up. And then lastly here for our turret, we're just going to place down 3 daylight detectors across the top there like so. And then we're going to place down a lever with an item frame. So lever and an item frame like that to go ahead and create that gun there. But anyways, that right there is going to basically complete what we have here for this layer. Again, also for my Java players, we can also place down an item frame underneath those skeleton skulls there. Anyways, though, that right there is going to conclude everything we have for layer number 6 of the build. And with that, we'll be going ahead and moving on to layer number 7. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 7. For layer 7 to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to go ahead and begin with by placing down a smoker that's going to go on top of this stone block right here. Or rather, sorry, this stone wall right here. Then in front of it, we're going to go ahead and grab ourselves daylight detectors. We're going to place down a row of 3 of daylight detectors, turn that to the night mode, then a lever right here, and then an item frame underneath that if you're on Java. So it's going to look like that. On the sides of the smoker, we're going to go ahead and place down an item frame. And then in that item frame, we want to go ahead and place down a black bed, rotated so that the pillow faces toward the rear of the ship. And then we're going to go ahead and also place down a birchwood sign on the side of the smoker with the item frame if you're on Java. We're going to go ahead and then place down 2 stone blocks back from that, and then a end rod on these 2 stone blocks here. Then we want to go ahead and grab ourselves a oak wood pressure plate. We're going to place down oak wood pressure plates on top of these 2 stone blocks, and then a lever here, and then an item frame, again, for more anti-aircraft guns. Then we're going to go back to our funnel. We're going to place down 2 stone blocks on top of these 2 here, and we want to go ahead and then place down 1 and 2 iron bars, 1 and 2. And then on top of the inside walls, we're going to place down a piston to both sides. Now, on the sides of the piston, we're going to go ahead and place down a tripwire hook. And this is, again, going to be on both sides of the piston, like so. Then, after that, we also want to go ahead and grab a light gray carpet, and we're going to place it down on top of this cobweb. So like that. Then, continuing on here, we're going to place down a stone brick upside down stair to both sides of this stone block. And then another birchwood fence gate coming off this stone block on the back. Going back to our rear mast, we're going to place down an andesite wall that goes up from the stone block here. And then a stone brick wall to both sides of that wall. We also want to place down a skeleton skull coming off those 2 stone brick walls. And then we're going to place down an end rod here in the center. Then we're going to go ahead and take our pistons. We're going to place down a piston on top of these 2 end rods. And we're also going to go ahead and grab ourselves a smoker and place down a smoker here in between those pistons. We'll then just take a tripwire hook and place it down on the sides here of these pistons. And then taking our debug stick here, we're going to go ahead and right click them like so to go ahead and get rid of that wood portion like that. And once you have that all done, that is going to wrap up everything we have there for layer number 7 of the build. And with that, we'll be going ahead and moving on to layer number. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 8. For layer 8 to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to place down a stone brick stair to begin with on top of this smoker. And to the sides of that, we are going to be going ahead and placing down a skeleton skull like so. Behind that, we want to go ahead and place down a stone top slab, and then again a skeleton skull to the sides of that top slab. We're also going to place down a birchwood fence gate here in the center. Coming off that fence gate, we're going to place down a stone slab to both sides. And we're going to go ahead and then place down a fence gate, or we already have the fence gate, so my bad. We're actually going to place down a birchwood sign on the side of the slab, on the side of the fence gate, and the side of this slab here. We'll go ahead and grab our item frames. We're going to place down an item frame to both sides of those slabs, and in those item frames, we're going to be going ahead and placing down a snowball like this to go ahead and create some spotlights there on the side of the superstructure. Moving back to our funnel, we're going to place down 2 more stone blocks that go up like so, a lever on top of these 2 stone stairs with an item frame underneath it. We then want to place down a stone brick upside down stair here, and then a stone top slab to the sides of it. Then we're going to go ahead and also place down a skeleton skull that's going to sit on top of this iron bar here. And then we want to go ahead and place down a stone slab on top of this iron bar, and we're going to place down an item frame on both sides here. And again, we're going to go ahead and place down a snowball in the item frame for those spotlights. And then we just want to go ahead and place down a birchwood fence gate that's going to sit in between those slabs, and then a skeleton skull come off those 2 slabs going forward. We'll then at this time take our debug stick and right click those pistons to go ahead and get rid of that wood portion like that. Now moving on to the rear mast, we're going to place down an andesite wall on top of this one. We're going to go ahead and then place down a skeleton skull that's going to sit like this. So it's going to be kind of off of a block right here. So it looks like that. And then behind this, we're going to place down a birchwood fence gate, open it up toward the wall, then an item frame, and of course a snowball in the item frame like that. So pretty straightforward there. And after you have that all done, that is going to conclude everything for layer 8. And with that, we'll be going ahead and moving into our next layer, which will be layer number 9. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 9. For layer 9 to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to place down a stone brick wall on top of this stone brick stair. Then behind that, we're going to place down a stone brick upside down stair. So it looks like that there. And then to the sides of the stone brick upside down stair, we're going to be going ahead and placing down a piston on top of those skeleton skulls. And this is going to have a tripwire hook on the side facing toward the front of the ship. Then we want to place down a birchwood fence gate right here, open up toward the toward the stair. And then we're going to have a skeleton skull on both sides of this fence gate. So going to be sitting just like that there for the forward conning tower. Then for the funnel on the back, we're going to place down 2 black concrete blocks, 2 item frames on top of those black concrete blocks, and then iron bars in them like so. We also want to go ahead and place down a lever on top of these 2 stone top slabs and item frames underneath those levers like so. Going ahead and continuing on toward the back, we're going to go ahead and place down a polished black stone wall here and a dark oak wood fence gate coming off that wall like so. We then want to go ahead and continue this on with that right there is actually it for this layer. That is going to be it. Actually, one quick thing too is we're going to go ahead and place down a block on top of this skeleton skull, and we're going to place down a skeleton skull that comes off of it for our crane. And that is it for this layer. That right there is going to conclude everything we have for layer 9, and with that we'll be going ahead and moving into our last final layers of the build. Moving into our final layers, we have layers 10 through 16. For these layers, we're going to go ahead and start off by going ahead and going to our conning tower here. And we want to go ahead and begin with by basically expanding upon what we set up in the previous layer, or layers I should say. And we're going to start off by placing down a stone brick wall here, and then we're going to place down a upside down stone brick stair on top of the one from the previous layer. We're going to take skeleton skulls, place them on the side of the walls and the stair, and then on the back here, we're going to place down our birchwood fence gate, this time with a stone slab here in the corners, and we're going to take our birchwood signs and kind of wrap them around the stone stairs or stone slabs like so. And also coming off this fence gate, we're going to place down a light gray banner. Now going up from this, we're going to go ahead and then grab ourselves a anvil. So we're going to place down an anvil on top here like so. We're going to place down a skeleton skull on the front wall, and then we want to go ahead and place down an end rod coming off the sides here of this skeleton skull. We're going to go ahead and also place down a skeleton skull on the side of the anvils. And then we want to go ahead and take our iron trapdoors, and we're going to place down a row of 3 of iron trapdoors across the space. So like that. And then we're just going to take our birchwood signs and wrap them around these trapdoors. So just like that. And then we're going to go and take our end rods. We're going to place down an end rod here, here, and then out to the side here like that. So it's just going to go out to the sides, and it's going to look like that there. After that's all done, we're going to go ahead and continue on by placing down a stone full block on top of that piston, a end rod to both sides, and then a chain coming off the end rods. Then on top of that, we're going to place down a piston. This piston is going to have a tripwire hook to both sides, and behind this, we're going to go ahead and also place down 2 andesite walls that go up like so. And then lastly, for the main conning tower, we're going to place down a row of 3 of iron bars on top of the andesite walls. So like that. And then taking our debug stick here, we're just going to go ahead and right click that piston and go ahead and get rid of that wood portion. And the same thing will be done for these pistons right here in this location. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and grab ourselves some of our barrier blocks. And we're going to go ahead and be setting up our rigging here. So for this, we're going to go ahead and place down 2 barrier blocks going forward from those chains. Then we want to go ahead and drop down, and we're going to place down 2 more forward. So again, drop down and 2 forward. Then after that, we're going to go ahead and continue on with our rigging by going ahead and dropping down and actually going to the side. So we're going to drop down, go out to the side, and then we're going to go, or actually sorry, toward the inside, and we're going to build 2 more. And the same thing will be done over here. So like that, and then again, we can delete any blocks we place to get them lined up as needed. We're going to drop down again, go forward 2. And then we want to go ahead and drop down again one more time. Go forward 2. And then we're going to go ahead and drop down into the middle here. And we're going to go ahead and go forward with 2. And then 2 more coming off this iron bar to connect up like that. Now once we have that done, we're going to take our buttons. We're going to place down a button here on top, side, top. And then we're just going to continue this up. So side, top, side, top, side, top. And again, side, top, side, and side. So the last 2 here are going to be on the side. So again, the same thing's going to be done over here on this side. As we just bring this down, like so. And we'll connect up here. We'll just have the buttons on both sides of this block here. And they would kind of come down and connect up to that. So that right there is kind of the forward mass cabling that we have done, and that's good to go. Now also on the back here we do have our barrier blocks that we're going to be going ahead and putting in. So these are going to go ahead and come down from this end rod. We're going to go down 4. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. And same thing we did over here, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this outer one is going to have 2 that drop down from it. So 2. Now for this, we're going to go ahead and basically place down a barrier block or a button here, and then we want to go ahead and place down a button here on both sides here, and then 1 forward. So it's going to kind of look like this here, and then on the top here it's going to be on the side. So it's going to kind of look like this. So again, over here on this side, it's going to be, if I can navigate around the barrier blocks, it's going to be a button here, then 1, 2, and then we're going to have 1, 2 like that, and then on the sides there. So again, just kind of that cabling there forming the, mass and all that stuff. Now, after that's done, we're going to go ahead and then set up our rear mass. So for this, we're going to go ahead and place down a polished blackstone stair that's going to sit on top of this wall, and then this wither skeleton skull that goes back from it. We're also going to place down a wither skeleton skull on top of that, and then we're going to place down a chain, or 2 chains, to the sides of the wither skeleton skull, as well as a chain coming off this one here, and then coming off this chain, we're going to go forward and out at an angle. So like that. And then for your crane, you're just going to place down another end rod, and then a skeleton skull that's going to kind of go up and kind of off of this space like that. So it's going to sit like that, and that's going to be your crane. Now, going ahead and working on the back here, we're going to place down a end rod that's going to kind of go off this wither skeleton skull at an angle going back. And then going up from this wither skeleton skull, we're going to place down 2 nether brick fence posts, and then 1, 2, 3, and 4 end rods up like that. So that's going to form the rear mass. And then we just want to go ahead and take some chains, and on the second to last end rod up on top here, we're going to place down a chain to both sides. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to be going ahead and taking our barrier blocks, and we're going to have to go ahead and set up the rigging here for all this. So we got a lot of bit to do here, but this is going to be starting off by going ahead and going to this chains here. We're going to place down 2 barrier blocks that go back, and we're going to have stone buttons on top of these 2 barrier blocks. Now after that's done, we then want to go ahead and go up from those barrier blocks, and we're going to place down a row of 4. That's going to go back, and then we're going to have 2 buttons on the side here, and then 2 buttons on top. Same thing over here, 2 buttons on the side, 2 buttons on top. Then we're going to go ahead and then go basically up again and in. So you have the barrier block that kind of sits like that, and this can be a row of 5. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and same thing will be done over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to have buttons that are going to run on the sides of these 2 blocks right here, and it's going to be on top of these 2 blocks, and that last block, it's just going to be on the side. So like that. Then we're going to place down 3 barrier blocks that are going to come off of those chains there, and we're going to place down stone buttons on the side of those 3 blocks. So just like that. Now for our row that kind of goes down below this section, we're going to go ahead and go to this barrier block here, and we're going to place down a barrier block that's going to come off of it, and then we have the button. After that, we're going to go ahead and then drop down from this, and we're going to place down 2 barrier blocks. We're going to have a button on top and to the side. Same thing over here. 2 barrier blocks, button on the top and to the side. Then we want to go ahead and drop down again. We're just going to go ahead and drop down 1 this time. So down 1 and forward 1 barrier block. Button's going to be on top of that one. And same thing over here. Barrier block on top of that one. So it's going to look like that there. Then we want to go ahead and go over to this to the outside with this. So it's going to come out to the side here with a barrier block, and we're going to have a button on the side there. And same thing over here. Out to the side and button on the side of that barrier block. So like that. Then after that is all finished with that section there, we're going to place down basically 2 barrier blocks that are going to come off this end rod. And a button on top and to the side. And same thing will be done over here. 2 barrier blocks, button on the side, and button on top there. So kind of complicated rigging on this ship, but once you really kind of get it set up, it's going to look really cool. It looks really good and just kind of helps really bring the ship all together, I think. So that's that middle section rigging, and then we just have our back section to go ahead and do now. So for our back section, we're going to place down a barrier block between these end rods here, then 1 more back, button on both sides of this block here, and then we're going to go and basically go down with a row of 3. So drop down, and then we're going to go 1, 2, 3 toward the back. We're going to drop down again, another row of 3, and then we're going to go and drop down again, this time a row of 2. Then we're going to drop down 1 more time, row of 3, and actually, sorry, one more time, we're going to go and then do a row of 2. So 1, 2. Now we're going to have buttons on the side of these barrier blocks here, and on top of this one, and then on the sides of these 2 blocks, on top of this one, and then on the side of this block here, on top of this one, on the side of these 2 blocks, on top of the last one, on top of these 2 blocks, or on the side of these 2 blocks, and then on top of this last one here. So kind of going to go back like that for that first row. And then our other row is going to be a little more steeper, going up to connect up to the top mast here. So we're going to place down a barrier block here, button on both sides. Then we're going to place down a barrier block on top of this one here, a stone button right here, and 2 stone buttons on the side of this barrier block. Then we're going to go ahead and go up at an angle like that. Another stone button on both sides. We're going to go ahead and go up again at an angle, this time a row of 2. Button on both sides of this first one, and the button on top of the second one. Then another barrier block back, button on both sides here. We're going to go ahead and then go up again with another barrier block, button on both sides of this one, and this is going to be a row 2, so 1 more, and then a button on top. Then another barrier block by itself, stone button on both sides. Again, we're going to go ahead and go up at an angle here, a button on both sides of this barrier block, and then go up again. 2 barrier blocks, button on both sides of this first one, on top of the second one, and then our last barrier block is going to be connecting to this end rod between the 2 chains, and we're going to have a stone button on both sides of that barrier block like so. And that right there is going to complete the rigging, and with that, that's going to complete layers 10 through 16 of this build, and that's going to include my tutorial here for the IJN Mutsu, or the Nagato-Class Battleship. Hope you guys do enjoy this build and are able to put it to good use. If you do use this build, I do ask that you guys give me proper credit for it. This could be the link from a sign of the build, tweet to my channel, or this video if this does appear on your social media sites. As long as you guys give me proper credit for the build, you're free to use it for projects you guys are working on. And on that, thank you guys again so much for watching. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This has been your 2x4, and I will see you guys next time.